breaking and incredible news is happening right now as, of course, the divide in this country has been healed because of a corporate syrup chain deciding to rebrand. Yep, we did it, guys. We ended all the hatred and the bigotry. Hold on one moment. Beep, beep, beep. We got more breaking news coming in right now.
This is Channels Television's breaking news.
That shit did not work, and you're screwed. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Okadowski of We Are Change.org, and I wonder, gee, is there anything more important? Is there anything else happening in the world that, would be more important to talk about, to bring up other than syrup? Wonder if there's a humanitarian crisis happening in Yemen. No. Or, a bloody conflict fought with literal sticks and stones. Albert Einstein's quote surrounding this hasn't been more accurate than it has today, which we're going to get into in this video, as well as all the latest censorship efforts, which are being coordinated by some very interesting organizations. But of course, geopolitics will be our main focus today. And before we get into that, plus a lot more, I wanted to remind you that this video, that is fully 100% demonetized, shadow banned, and heavily censored, is provided because of your support. And one easy way that you could support us and we could support you at the same time, yes, you actually get something out of this too, surprise, surprise, is by using the Brave browser. That not only saves you a crap load of time, bandwidth, but also rewards you with cryptocurrencies for simply using this privacy-focused web browser, which in my opinion is way better than Mozilla and Chrome. I didn't believe it until I started using it. It adds an extra layer of security, privacy, and gives you some cryptocurrencies which you could reward your favorite creators just by simply using the link down in the description below and using this web browser for over 30 days. And if you use it for over 30 days, we get a small commission, which allows us to still be here every single day, even though we face the paramount of the Big Brother technocratic Orwellian system that's sucking the life out of everything free and good. So yeah, win-win for everyone. If you haven't downloaded it yet from our referral link, it will be down in the description below. Seriously, what are you doing? Not downloading it. Now, just a couple moments ago, we got the news that Google is going to be banning alternative media websites from its platform because of the successful lobbying of, quote, this anti-free speech organization that allegedly persuaded it to do so. They did it by slandering two media organizations, lying about who they were, all of course in the name of Black Lives Matter. Zero Hedge, a news organization that we sourced that has been far more accurate than the mainstream media. They are not perfect, of course, but this is the same Zero Hedge news organization that was just reinstated on Twitter after being erroneously censored after they released articles talking about all the evidence showing that the global sickness going around could have been made in a laboratory. Because of that, Twitter fully took down their account, and now, after many professionals and experts are backing that theory, they have been reinstated, only to now be attacked by Google that says it's taking action against its website for violating its policies related to race. And if you go to Zero Hedge, you mainly see a lot of financial news. And prove me if I'm wrong, I've never seen any form of racism or bigotry promoted ever on this website. Again, prove me wrong. If you think I'm wrong or I might have missed something, let me know in the comment section below. But I haven't seen anything close to what is being accused of, particularly Zero Hedge here, at all. I do see a lot of information that counters the government, the mainstream media, the narrative that they're trying to push. And in my opinion, this is why they are targeted to be taken down, specifically going after their ability to finance their operation by going after their funding. Again, this is something that we've directly faced with YouTube, totally demonetizing us just recently. But we need to understand here, Google, YouTube, Alphabet, they own a monopoly on the ad industry, on information. Never has one entity controlled so much information, so much speech, had so much power within itself that was unaccountable. Never in a time in history could you say there was a group as powerful as Google. And I believe that's one of the reasons why many people aren't even speaking out against this very false, egregious action against Zero Hedge. And instead of just two individuals stand out, then that is Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson. Again, they have been the only ones that I've been seeing that actually have made this an important issue, and that is extremely alarming if you care about the future of free speech, which is controlled by one multinational monopoly, one corporation that in the name of this protest movement will come and try to destroy you after allegedly anti-free speech organizations, by the way, that don't hide who they are. This is the profile picture for the organization that is claiming the scalp of Zero Hedge, that shows a white man parading around with a red Marxist flag, celebrating, of course, the destruction of free speech, which is a staple for many communist dictatorships all throughout history. And again, the communism ideal is being promoted more than ever, closely aligning themselves with the Black Lives Matter movement in order to gobble up as much power and authority as they can for themselves. And since that ideology favors the multinational corporations to do whatever they want, they of course will abide by it. And anyone daring to stand in opposition to it, including right-wing groups, are targeted and taken down, as Facebook just took down hundreds of more right-wing organization groups that have been engaged with street fights with leftist organizations. And now this pro-censorship, anti-free speech, totalitarian movement is spreading everywhere, including Reddit, where you can't even criticize the narrative that they're trying to push. All, of course, representing elements that are completely opposite to what we've been told was the civil rights movement in the 1960s. Many people are pro-segregation, anti-free speech, pro-censorship, promoting intolerant views, and that deserves to be called back out against. Now, these are elements within this latest protest movement that is being promoted by the elite and the state. Of course, it is not all of them. There are some good-meaning, caring, honest, good individuals a part of this protest movement, but the ones that you're hearing about, the elements and ideas are being promoted, are the ones that benefit the corporate state. And this is why big tech and its monopoly has been so willing to do its bidding, because at the end of the day, it benefits them, and everyone should know that moving forward. But it's going to be very difficult to do that, since of course we face heavy shadow banning and censorship for just releasing this type of information that is counter to what they're trying to make you believe. Now, if that's not enough to worry about, we now have the other prospects of a potential conflict unfolding between India and China along its border over, of course, a territory dispute that has been happening for a very long time. And all of this latest news makes me think of the Albert Einstein quote when he said, "I'm not sure with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones." And that statement is eerily true, especially if you consider the Cold War to be World War III, after we're finding out that it was now over 70 troops that were killed in action after the Indian and Chinese soldiers were fighting each other with literal rocks, iron rods, sticks, and throwing each other off cliffs. Now, of course, this might be very perplexing, especially for the advanced military might of the Chinese, and of course the billion-dollar bought US-equipped Indian army to be fighting with literal sticks and stones. But the reason gunfire was not exchanged very oddly between these two armies that were killing each other was because of a treaty and a peace agreement that both sides had, which forbid them to carry guns within 2 kilometers of the disputed border which they were both stationed. Now, as we said yesterday, the Indians had one version of this story, the Chinese had another, but so far the official data that we're getting that it has been up to 20 Indian soldiers that were killed or injured, and at least 43 Chinese. This, of course, is a very shocking event, especially when you look at the details of what happened here, where many of the casualties came because of being hit on the head and thrown into frigid glacial waters. Yes, hand-to-hand combat on a massive scale with, of course, very dangerous implications. Since, of course, a conflict between these two nuclear powers could definitely get out of hand. And now with the two version of events, according to the Chinese, the fight started after Indian soldiers crossed the disputed line and, quote, acted illegally, provoked and attacked the Chinese soldiers, which resulted in both of the groups fighting each other. According to the Indian version of events, this was a, quote, effort of disengagement after a month-long standoff along the frontier when the Indian troops, quote, furiously dismantled a Chinese camp. Now, another thing to really consider here is that this is on the heels of a pact that India and Australia made, where they stepped up their partnership, signing a defense pact which would support each other if either country would go to war with China. There was a total of 9 arrangements made, and of course this directly threatens China, which is not only facing a dispute with India on its border near the Himalayas, but also with the South Chinese Sea man-made military islands that they have been building, which of course Australia and the United States are speaking out against. And there have been many aggressive military drills and show of force exercises that really put us in a more unsafe place. Now, obviously, with mounting tensions, there should be a lot more attention for these situations, as well as a promotion of diplomacy instead of concentrating on literal pancake syrup. And that's not the only thing we have to worry about. We also have to worry about the gross criminal incompetency of the government when it comes to the cornholio sickness going around, as well as other larger economic ramifications when it comes to the rising tensions with China. You look at the rising economic conflicts, whether it's stealing intellectual property, the United States being dependent on China for a lot of its medical supplies. We are seeing what is akin to, of course, a currency and a trade war, while, of course, facing severe economic ramifications. More of a currency reset, which, again, a lot of people have been talking about for a very long time, including us for a number of years now. And it's becoming more common now. The actions by the Federal Reserve are absolutely insane. The IMF is warning about an economic crisis. Many financial experts are warning that the worst is still yet to come. And of course, if you look at the United States in its historical period, the majority of its time, over 200 years, it took to build up a national debt of $2 trillion. Recently, that happened almost within a span of just 2 months. 2 months to equal the same amount of money that it took almost 200 years to go into debt for. And again, as all of this is happening, we're still continuing the same bastardized, illogical, nonsensical, they're called economic practices, but they should be called unicorn, fairy tale land, make-believe, whatever the hell you want practices that absolutely have a severe effect on our wealth and, of course, our way of life. It might be more important than ever to check out the Brave browser, by the way, especially with the crypto aspect. I'm just saying, not financial advice, but, you know, worth considering. So yeah, damn, it's a lot of serious issues. Go meditate after this. I need to. 2020 is a hell of a year. It's still uncertain how it will go. I will keep saying what I've been saying from the very beginning, especially what I've been emphasizing as the last couple months have been going by. Better to be prepared than not. There's a big economic storm coming. I hope you guys are prepared. I hope I showed you a side of what's really happening compared, of course, to the mainstream media that many times lies to you to profit off of human misery, as they usually do, which of course YouTube promotes and shoves down your throat. And the only reason videos like this exist and they're able to be out there for the people for free every single day is because of you and you sharing them. Seriously, sharing this video with your friends and family members means more to us than ever, especially now in these very, very difficult times for any alternative media that is being selected out and squashed out for even daring to raise our voice against the insanity happening right now. The threats or whatever, it doesn't matter. Tech censorship is really what we all need to fight against. And honestly, sharing videos is one way to do it. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.